You're listening to Duelist Discussion, Episode 4.
Hello and welcome to Episode 4 of Duelist Discussion. Joining me today is my good friend Ryan Drover. How's it going, Ryan?
Hey, doing well, man. How are you?
I'm great. Thanks for coming along. Alex and Richard are not with us this week. Hopefully we'll see them next week. However, we will have Alex's lore segment at the end of the show as usual. I believe today he's going over the rogue. So I'm really looking forward to that. Love his little lore insights.
Of course, he knows a lot about all the lore in Warcraft.
Definitely. He's our lore extraordinaire. So anyway, tell us a little bit about yourself, Ryan. How's it going lately?
Going well, man. I've been playing a lot of games, trying to catch up on the grind, the usual.
Right on, right on. How's work going?
Works good, man. Just trucking along.
Yeah, and you got a 3DS you bought recently, right?
Yeah, I've been obsessing over that.
What games did you get for it?
Well, I bought Fire Emblem Awakening with it, which is very, very good for all you strategy connoisseurs.
It's a lot like Final Fantasy Tactics, isn't it?
Oh yeah, very much so. A lot of customization, beautiful environments and cutscenes, and voice acting is great. Everything.
Yeah, I'm not too crazy about the tile-based gameplay though.
Right, it's kind of hit and miss for a lot of people.
Yeah, personally for me, it ruined Metal Gear Acid. You ever play that one?
No, I didn't check that out actually.
It wasn't very good, and the cards and everything.
Right.
Well, let's go ahead and get into the news. Just wanted to remind everyone that we are doing special BlizzCon coverage, and some more Hearthstone details regarding BlizzCon have been announced, which is going to be on November 8th and 9th, by the way. That's a Friday and Saturday, less than a month away. So 8 of the best players in the Hearthstone beta have been invited to compete live at the convention in best-of-5 matches with 3 constructed decks each. This is not arena play. The winner of the whole thing is named Grand Master of the Hearth, and those players are some of the most popular on Twitch and so on, such as Day9, Rekful, Hafu, I believe it's Kriparian, Trump, Husky, Noxious, and Artosis. I do believe Noxious and Artosis have their own podcast, and Rekful is one of the more popular ones on stream, if I'm not mistaken. They're all good players, and I'm really excited to see them. I'm personally rooting for Noxious because I like his name. Yes, it's as simple as that. Have you been watching any streams of Hearthstone?
Yeah, I've seen a couple online, and it's just incredible. You know, I've been following a lot of the Druid matches.
Oh yeah,
because I think I'm gonna have a Druid deck myself.
What attracts you to the Druid deck?
I like the whole pick one mechanic.
Mm-hmm.
That's interesting to me.
You like the hybrid concept?
Yeah, I think it gives a lot of diversity to your playing.
So what's keeping you from going other hybrid classes like the Paladin or maybe even the Priest a little bit?
Nothing really. I mean, I definitely want to check out the Priest decks as well because
that mind control, right?
Yeah, the mind control and the healing and everything. I was a healer personally in WoW, so I think that's probably drawing me to it.
Yeah, there's so many connections. I can't help but feel so happy about all the fan service they do for the World of Warcraft players. And then on the other end, it's really just impressive how attractive the game is to non-WoW players that are maybe only like Blizzard games superficially. Surface value. You know, just kind of playing StarCraft a little bit, Diablo a little bit. I'm kind of that way, but like you, I do have a pretty extensive WoW background.
Right.
For that matter, I want to play the Warlock deck because, you know, I'm just crazy about the Warlocks and they're all demonic and stuff. And the whole self-sacrifice concept is pretty neat.
Yep.
But yeah, so we'll be covering all that in an episode for BlizzCon, episode or two maybe. Other than that, things are chugging along at a good pace. They're still sending out beta keys. They update their Twitter and their forums, constantly saying that they've completed a wave for the Europe or North American regions to check your emails. I just feel that a lot of the players on the forums there's lots of complaints, which is to be expected, I suppose, particularly with Blizzard games, right?
Right, of course.
I feel like a lot of the complaints are a lot of the same thing, in that for the most part, many players are forgetting what a beta phase is. You know,
Yeah.
it's like a testing phase.
Yep.
Players in the beta often seem to forget that it's a testing phase for a video game where a large swath of players, bigger than a room full of play testers, can truly bring to light any issues that need addressing. Much like outsourcing your computer for, protein folding. You ever heard of that? It's where you can use your computer's resources to kind of like contribute to science, and you can
Right.
try all sorts of different things that one computer couldn't simply do fast enough.
Yep.
And it really progresses science, really pushes science. It's really good.
Yeah.
I don't know too much about it, obviously. But it's kind of like that. And Blizzard is partly to blame for like the skewing of the concept of a beta phase, as they use beta phases for hyping their content as much as, if not arguably, more than actual testing, considering how available they make their betas and how they market keys. It's like really carrot and stick, you know, and it aggravates me a great deal, because it forces players to behave a certain way, I think.
Yeah, definitely. It's kind of ridiculous. And it's like that with everything else, you know, like every other beta, for like an MMO or such, it's so rare to get a beta key, and everyone's always fighting over one, or, you know, pestering the company, and I don't know. I think they could do better with it, honestly.
I agree, and this whole ordeal of so few people getting beta keys, it wouldn't be such a big deal if they didn't market it in a way that teased players, by having players that have opted into the beta and have been opted in for months. Or a great argument that lots of people like to bring up is that they've been Blizzard fans for years. They've given the company so much money in their games, and they've played them for years and years. They've had subscriptions for years, and they feel that they deserve it. And who is to say no? It's just never been very clear how someone gets a beta key, why they get a beta key, if it's truly random. And if it's truly random, a lot of people, I think, feel that they deserve to be more than a random name on a list. They deserve, it's kind of like a superiority, a seniority
Right.
complex. I'm not sure that I agree with that, or that it's fair, but I do realize all of this controversy brings up some pretty interesting arguments. For example, like we went into last week, what with the beta advantage, players that are in the beta having an advantage over others. I would really like to set straight my opinion on this. I think the advantage and disadvantage lies not in the resources such as cards and gold that players can accumulate before others that are not playing. I don't think it lies in resources like cards or gold nearly as much as in the familiarity with the cards and their mechanics, you know?
Of course.
So much of the knowledge is out there, right? Like via wikis and streams, and to access it in any way that is not presented like it is in the game is just laughably dull.
Yeah.
No one wants to read all that. You know, everyone wants to play the game. So the level of enjoyment to be had from witnessing the visuals and the dynamic gameplay elements is lost when you root out the numbers, the names, the basic concepts, and you throw them in a paragraph or a chart about a wiki or on a wiki. Engaging on Hearthstone in this way, so as to be most prepared for launch, if one is not in the beta, is simply boring. That is why, for example, we don't dwell too heavily on numbers. We just don't want to we don't want to bore everyone with number crunching and all that. At least not yet. At least not before everyone has had their hands on the game, and they don't have to be inundated with all these visions, these auditorial lectures of number crunching. And it's just so teasing to me when I listen to other podcasts and that kind of thing. It's just not fun. So I like to think that we're all in the same boat here, and that's why we don't dwell on that. But what do you think? What do you think about players in the beta? Do you think they have an advantage?
Definitely. I mean, that's why everyone's wanting a beta key and fighting for a beta key, because they want to experience this content as early as possible. And those who actually have, I think, definitely have an advantage, because, like you said, they're getting the experience with the game before everyone else, and all we have is, videos or anything that they say, or anything on Wiki, like you said, and it's not nearly as valuable as first-hand experience with the content. And I do think as well that, with the whole issue with the companies and the beta keys, I think it could be done much better. And I think it's definitely a marketing scheme for them to send out as few beta keys as possible, so that everyone's more interested, and there's more hype in the product. And I think, I agree definitely that players experiencing the beta now are going to have a much bigger advantage over us who haven't experienced the content yet.
Yeah, and it's like I said, we're not disputing the fact that it's good for the company. Sure, it's going to make them more money, it's going to sell more things, but it's teasing, and right. It divides players in a way that, I don't know. It might be good for the game, but it's bad for the forums and the publicity and the feedback. I can't imagine the difficulty it must be in sorting out the positive feedback, the constructive feedback on the forums about your game that you're trying to construct and make polished for, quote unquote, the most epic experience ever, as right. Blizzard likes to say. When you have to sort through all the junk that is players complaining about not being in the beta, that is players defending themselves in the beta, and the company saying there is no real advantage, and they say, you can go look up wikis, and you can look up streams, and you can follow along, and you can read and everything, but it's not the same, because someone that's not in the beta is not going to get in the swing of things like someone that's playing. Whereas you'll often see in streams, these players, they don't just look at their cards, they don't look at them and read them. You never see them do it for the first time, really. They've memorized the cards, and they know what's going on, they know the mechanics, they know the dance, and at this point it's all just robotic. And who's to say that a new player is going to stand a chance against a Season 1 in Arena, when the leaderboards are kind of unusual, and those may be reset weekly, by the way. Not sure about that one yet. But who's to say a fresh player is going to even be able to stand a chance? Not to mention a player not in the beta would have never had the opportunity to make a name for themselves and been invited to BlizzCon. It's the company's decision. They can do what they want, sure. But honestly, I just want to lay down that I don't think it's fair. And, I'm going to have to deal with it, but that's just how I feel.
I completely agree. And them saying, that the 8 best players go to BlizzCon and compete in this whole thing. And, I mean, there are so many players who potentially could be in league with all of those quote-unquote best players, but that haven't even, experienced the game. And I don't think it's fair, personally, that we're missing out on that opportunity. And definitely, with this whole beta thing and all the experience that they're getting ahead of us, it's going to be harder for us starting at the plate than those who've experienced the beta, because, like you said, they memorized everything, all the mechanics, all the debuffs, everything,
Yeah.
It's going to be harder for us to just, start out when they've had months ahead of us.
Yeah, and us average Joes, us regular players, we don't even have it as bad as other players. Rekful, who's going to be in one of the 8 competing, he streams video games. He plays video games for a living. He makes money from his Twitch stream and so on with advertising, and he has thousands of viewers, and that's how he makes that's what he does for a living.
Right.
Regardless of whether or not that's viable, I don't know how viable that is. But these players in these top 8, these players, they throw $300 on decks, that kind of thing, and so they must be making some decent money, I think. Not really sure, but these are just a few that are trying to make it in a field that they're passionate about. Rekful, his advertising and his streams and stuff, they're going to benefit so much from the publicity that being at BlizzCon is going to give him, and he's going to get a financial push, I believe.
Definitely.
It's going to be great competition over his peers that are trying to do the same thing, and so I imagine those other guys that are just trying to make some money, playing games for a living, that kind of thing, good radio personalities, good video personalities, they're going to be kind of kicked to the curb a little bit in comparison, at least after this BlizzCon rush of Hearthstone.
Right, definitely.
But otherwise, some beta players are getting a second beta key. Players that already have one are getting a second one. Meanwhile, there are opt-in players that still don't have one. Isn't that hilarious?
Like us.
Yeah. So, what do you think? Should they sell that, or should they give it away? What would you do? You're not supposed to sell it.
Right. I mean, that's terrible. I would definitely give it away. If I was, graceful enough to have 2, let alone 1 beta keys.
Well, what if you could put it on eBay for $200 and no one would know the better?
I don't know. I think because if I got a beta key, chances are a friend of mine interested wouldn't have a beta key, so I'd give it to them.
Yeah.
Somebody I know that personally is interested in the game. But I think that's ridiculous. That people are getting 2 beta keys. That's silly.
Do you think they're doing that on purpose? Think that's like an extended publicity thing, or is that conspiracy?
That's definitely a possibility. I mean, it's obviously irritating us and spreading by word of mouth. So,
what's irritating is how niche they get into the marketing when they give highly reputable people in the community 10 beta keys or so, and they tell them just make it easy to give them out, that kind of thing. Like, that's not. I feel like that detracts away from the purpose. And this isn't new for Blizzard. They've always done this kind of thing where they make their betas a publicity kind of deal, marketing, advertising. It's frustrating when you got some people that can really offer some constructive feedback. Just make the whole thing open beta. What's going on?
Right. That would solve a lot of problems with the community. Definitely.
Particularly with legality, because people are selling these on eBay for a lot of money.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure that irritates Blizzard as well, or they might not even care because they're Blizzard.
It's free publicity, right?
Yeah.
Well, kind of. Well, anyway, in other news, Blizzard files a trademark for Heroes of the Storm. First of all, what do you think this could be?
Well,
honestly,
it could be anything really with Blizzard, because with a lot of things they're hush hush, with the whole Titan and everything.
Well, we're not supposed to see that till like 2016, 2015, something like that.
Of course, but I mean, I think they had something like this that was related to Diablo 3, an expansion for Diablo 3 as well, that they registered a trademark for, and everyone was, hyped up over. And I think that could definitely be something related to Hearthstone as well.
Yeah.
Maybe new content, like new booster packs or an expansion. Maybe another hero class. Maybe introducing the Death Knight. Could be anything like that.
Well, it certainly didn't sound like anything for StarCraft or especially Diablo, because they've already announced their expansion.
Right.
There is speculation that it could be a Hearthstone expansion. I think this is absolutely ridiculous. The game's not even out yet. And there's speculation that it could be an avenue, an opportunity for them to introduce the rest of the classes to Hearthstone, like the Monk or the Death Knight.
Right. Mm-hmm.
The Death Knight's not a hero, man. I don't know. The Death Knight is certainly not a hero. It's probably something to do with WoW, that they're going to announce at BlizzCon an expansion. It's about that time, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, that too. When did Mist come out? A couple years ago?
It's been a few years.
Yeah.
It has?
I think so.
No way. It's like last year, right?
I'm not sure. Time flies, man. They just keep coming out with content for WoW.
Yeah. Way too much content sometimes.
Yeah, it's overwhelming.
It is overwhelming. It's exhausting. But then there's players that complain that they don't have enough.
Right. I mean, those are the extreme die-hard, doing dailies every day. I mean, I would complain as well if I was at the end of the rope.
Yeah.
So.
Well, the system requirements have been announced for Hearthstone, and the minimum for those are on the PC. That's Intel Pentium D or AMD Athlon, basically. And on the Mac, it's Intel Core 2 Duo or ATI Radeon. Pretty basic. I'm not going to get too deep into all the chips and all that. But for both, it's 2 gigabytes of RAM and then 3 gigabytes of hard drive space. You need internet to be connected to the game. You have to be connected. And then basic 1024 by 768 resolution. Did you look up what that was like compared to that? What was that? Watch Dogs, Last of Us?
Yeah, Watch Dogs. The Watch Dogs requirements as well, they were significantly higher. But I mean, when it comes to the next gen systems, and the requirements for those, they have comparisons to, what a PC equivalent would be, like graphics card wise.
Yeah.
And they're pretty high. The minimum requirements for Watch Dogs, 6 gigs of RAM. I think you need a quad core processor, definitely. They're saying the GTX 560 Ti graphics card would be their highest recommendation. As well, you can do a regular 560 without the Ti boost, and that would be enough. But that doesn't even touch the requirements for a lot of the next gen games coming out for PC, like Call of Duty Ghosts and
yeah, with like 6 gig of RAM and 50 gigabyte hard drive space needed. That's like way high.
Yeah, and the graphics card boost as well. Like they're recommending like a 660 as opposed to the 560 NVIDIA chip for the Watch Dogs. That's a pretty significant jump.
To put it into perspective, like The Sims 3 has lower requirements than Hearthstone, with like only 1.5 gigabytes of RAM needed and a little bit more hard drive space, but that's 6 gigabytes of hard drive space. So do you think do you think stock personal computers would be able to run Hearthstone fine?
Yeah, I think it'll run it fine. I think because the whole marketing thing with Hearthstone is it's easy for any player to get into,
Yeah.
Which includes people that don't have, big, stocky PCs like me and you or anyone else does. So I'm sure anyone with a decent laptop or PC could definitely jump on and run it, no problem.
Yeah. Well, it can play on the iPad, so there's that.
Right.
So that might be a redundant question at that point.
Right.
Would you prefer to play it on a touchscreen or a monitor?
I think the touchscreen will definitely be interesting.
You can lay in bed and play it, right?
Right. That's definitely awesome. But personally, I'd prefer to, the whole point and click dynamic due to my past experience with PC gaming and such.
Yeah. Apparently, you can play. Well, since it's not out. The beta is not accessible from the iPad yet.
Right.
There has been a workaround. What with TeamViewer and those kind of things, you can use those programs. From what I've heard, what really works is this program called Splashtop, and it costs a little bit of money. It's like maybe $10 or so.
Right.
But you can play this. You can play this at work with a team viewing. Like you can view your desktop remotely. That kind of concept.
Right.
And you can access it that way. And it's kind of janky, but it works if you have to play.
Right.
So there's that option for people.
Right.
But I wanted to ask you, how do you think Hearthstone will perform in the next generation console environment? What with the PS4 and the Xbox One? Do you think it matters?
I think, well, Blizzard has such a huge following, first of all. So anything that they release or hint at, a lot of people are going to follow it. And all of them are gamers, and I'm sure they're definitely interested in next-gen systems, the PS4 and such. But I don't think it'll matter really when it comes down to the game, because anyone interested in the game will definitely hop on it. I mean, if not as well with anything else next-gen. Personally, I'll be playing Destiny. I'm looking forward to that. But
oh yeah, Bungie's Destiny.
I'll definitely be on Hearthstone, if not more,
And they just broke into the console environment with Diablo 3 on
Right.
PS3 and Xbox, right?
Right. Who's to say that they won't bring Hearthstone to consoles one day?
I mean, yeah, as a free Xbox Live Arcade download or so on. And they could easily pay the royalties for the console, I think.
Yeah, definitely.
Do you think the time is ripe for this like freemium content of you pay for your content? The game is free, but you pay for it. Do you think the time is like really ripe for a game like Hearthstone, with like Plants vs Zombies type of games on the market? It's a very prevalent arena of mobile gaming taking place right now, and this movement is getting larger and larger with more people getting smartphones.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I think it's a great time because it's a card-based game, and a lot of fans of that genre are definitely looking forward to this. Not only fans of the Warcraft universe, but
Magic fans.
Right, Magic fans, old school Yu-Gi-Oh fans, Pokemon fans, whatever, will definitely be interested with this, and that it interests me in that aspect. My inner card gamer.
Like the Wii was a gateway drug for all ages to get into video games.
Yeah.
The Wii console. I feel that Hearthstone is kind of like that, a gateway for people that aren't necessarily into WoW or Blizzard or card games. I feel like this is a very good gateway for people to get into it, and it would only make sense for them to offer it to a wider audience, like iOS on the Apple Store or the PC and Mac. So I agree, it's a very, very, very ripe time to if this is a trend in gaming or entertainment software. This is the perfect time to enter into it. What with new standards being constantly laid down as the groundwork, higher standards, and people obviously getting pissed off about having to pay to get around a wall for the most part in a game like Plants vs. Zombies.
Right.
I don't think this game necessarily bugs you to buy cards because you get plenty on your own, but it's just enough carrot on the stick action where you want to kind of pay to win. You want to. So you have a better edge, and it's just cheap enough to where it makes you feel like it's worth it, A little bit here, a little bit there. It could work.
Right. I mean, it's nothing crazy like back in the day, Magic. A lot of money was spent on Magic, on booster packs or separate cards or anything, and those go for a lot of money now. And I think it's better digitally as well, because you can't lose a card or anything like that. And it's definitely a smart move on Blizzard's part, for sure. And as well, you can earn cards throughout playing.
Yeah.
So there's no demand for you to spend any money, which is appealing to everyone, really.
I agree. So let's take a break, and then when we come back, we'll go over spectating video games. I really want your opinion on that, because I know that your girlfriend likes to watch you play video games.
Right.
And so we can go over the legalities of that even. So when we return, I got a few questions for you, and we'll just go from there.
Alrighty.
Okay, and we're back. Joining us is surprise guest and co-host Rashard Burrell. Hey, man.
How you guys doing?
Well, it's good to have you for this second portion, because I really wanted to ask you. You were in the armed forces, correct?
Correct.
Navy. The Navy?
Mm-hmm.
Which part exactly?
What?
What did you do exactly?
I was an avionic electrician. Fixed the electronics on the aircraft.
Sounds fun.
Not really.
Not really. Well, did you get to play?
I got to meet the Blue Angel pilots, and I got to almost see some Navy SEALs. So it was pretty cool. Stationed in Pensacola, Florida.
Did you gamble?
No, that's actually illegal in the military.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Huh. Did you get to play any video games?
Yes.
Tell me what that's like.
For each base it's different, because in my base the leave policies and free time, they were actually pretty lenient. My schedule for like day-to-day typical schedule was I would wake up at 5:30 in the morning. I would go to my A school, my class, until 4:30 p.m. Then after that we would go PT for an hour. So
physical training?
Yeah, physical training. So I would get back to my room. Well, then after that, I would go eat lunch, or dinner rather, at like between 6:30 and 7 o'clock, and then I would get back to my room probably around 7:30 to 8, and then I would probably play my Xbox, because I had it sent to me once I arrived in my base, for probably about an hour, and then I would go to sleep. So I didn't get to play much. But on the weekends, if you don't have duty for that weekend, you get to play all day, whenever. But the internet, I had to pay for my own internet, and the only internet I had was a Wi-Fi card that I got through T-Mobile, and it's very terrible for gaming.
Yeah.
It's like pretty much only designed for web page browsing and maybe a couple of YouTube videos. And then there's a limit on the amount of data per month, so you can't really do much with it. So multiplayer online was pretty much like it wasn't really an option, because you would just disconnect and lag the whole time.
Yeah.
But gaming was possible, but if it required internet connection, not so much.
So, but like you could have your cell phone on you? Could you play mobile games, that kind of thing?
Because of my rate, because I work on the aircraft, it's top secret information, so we're not allowed to have cell phones in the actual training buildings or actual like hangars with the planes, because they don't want information about that stuff leaking out. People taking pictures, or like maybe writing stuff down to take later. Like, I don't know, like schematics that I had, I'm not allowed to share. I still have them like to this day, and I can't let people see them until it's not secret information.
Right.
But it's outside of that aspect. Like whenever I was like outside of a training facility or a hangar, I could have my cell phone on me. But I don't know. I never really had time for mobile games, So I was always busy, unless it was the weekend, of course, and I didn't have duty.
Yeah, you just had that 1 hour at night, maybe.
Yeah, that's for the most part. I had that 1 hour, and then the weekends.
And then because you had to go to bed early, right?
Because I have to wake up at 5:30 the next day.
Did you ever just skip it because you just weren't in the mood? You were too tired or something?
Oh, all the time, yeah. I mean, the only time I really would play is if my roommate wanted to play a game with me, or if like at the time I was in Pensacola, Skyrim had just came out. It was still brand new, and so I was really excited to play that. So the game was interesting enough and like amazing enough to keep me awake to play it for a little while before I went to sleep every night. But
how was I'm sorry, what?
No, go ahead. That was just rambling on that part.
How was how was coming about new games? How did that work? Or did you just have what you had?
There's on base. There's a building called the Navy Exchange. We call it NEX for short. It was kind of like the Walmart for the base. Like it was a military Walmart. We didn't pay taxes, and there was like really good deals. And they had a game section, so you could buy video games on base. But because military's like predominantly men, and men typically are gamers, you had to be. It's kind of like those midnight releases at a store for a video game, and there's like a line outside the door, and there's everybody trying to get this game. So if you could get your hands on a copy, you were lucky. So I actually got lucky because I didn't have duty that week. Everybody who had duty, they couldn't get it until like a month after it came out on base. They had to go off base to get it.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and they paid about $10 or $15 more because it's cheaper on base.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, there's no tax, and it's just everything's cheaper for. I guess it's just a discount they were able to work out for the military people.
Oh wow, that's pretty sweet.
Yeah.
So would you say that the military is a pretty good gaming life?
It depends on how like your level of gamerness.
So it's like great if you're super casual then.
Yeah, if you're a casual gamer, then it's perfectly fine. Me personally, I'm not a hardcore gamer, but I'm definitely above casual. So it sucked for me because I don't like to normally I don't go out to like parties and drink at bars and stuff, and that's pretty much all you can do on a base, like either barracks parties or go out to the base bar. Mm-hmm. Because going out at the time I was under 21, so going out, getting a liberty, you had to have a partner to go off base with, and people didn't want to sign off with somebody that was underage because they don't want to risk getting themselves. Because if I got caught underage drinking, whoever I signed out with would also get in trouble. And underage drinking is you're getting kicked out of the military.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. So it was difficult to find they called it Liberty Buddy, and it was not even worth the trouble really. So I spent a lot of my time just on base, gaming whenever I could, or maybe going out to the restaurants on base and stuff.
Yeah. Do you think people will be playing Hearthstone on base if that's possible with the internet? You think that's the kind of crowd for that?
I mean, some of my Navy buddies are already talking about playing. Some of them are actually in the beta. Oh, wow. It really depends on the base's internet, because some bases offer stable, like pretty good internet. Mine didn't, and it's rare because Pensacola is known as one of the best bases in the Navy, at least. It's one of they won multiple awards for like the best galley or cafeteria in the Navy, and best like record of graduation and stuff. So it's a pretty good base, and they struggle with the internet there. So it's rare to find good internet. But I mean, if you can find it or buy your own, because you can go out and buy third-party internet, but it's more expensive because they know, like they just increase the price because they know that's going to be your only option for internet.
Yeah, I see.
So, yeah,
That's pretty good information, good insight that I hadn't acknowledged before, I'm not currently in the service, or I don't intend to. It's not for me. What about you, Ryan?
No, I mean, I'm Canadian, so I'm out of this conversation.
There we go. Well, moving on, I wanted to get into a topic, particularly regarding you, Ryan. I wanted your input, and that's video games spectating. There is no Hearthstone spectator client yet, by the way. That's confirmed. They have made it known that they hear people want it, but yeah, there's no confirmation. But I wanted to know you guys' thoughts on spectating video games. With Twitch and other spectating clients growing in popularity, is watching video games a vicarious enjoyment to you? Richard?
I do follow a lot of players on Twitch for League of Legends, and it's very exciting, and it's sometimes hilarious, depending on which streamer you're watching. And they also host events such as the LCS for League of Legends, which is the worldwide championship, and it gets millions of viewers. So, me personally, I love spectating gameplay of mostly pro players, but even players that just play to have fun.
Right.
It's very, very, very entertaining to me.
And Ryan, you said your girlfriend likes to watch you play video games, right?
Yeah, definitely. I've played many games where she's just sat behind me and experienced the whole thing with me, which is cool to me.
That's fun, playing to an audience. There's a lot of fun in that. It's weird.
Yeah, definitely. It's different with certain games, I think, because a lot of people will watch streams of, StarCraft or Call of Duty or anything professional.
Right.
But it's different with her. She'll watch me play Final Fantasy or something, and she definitely enjoys that vicariously.
Do you think this this movement appeals to audiences with more story games or competitive esports like StarCraft?
I think it's kind of half and half, honestly. I think because personally, I'll watch anyone play an interesting story game without even having to touch it.
Yeah.
Grand Theft Auto, for instance, my roommate has been playing that a lot more than I have. And just watching the story for that is enough for me. I don't even have to touch it. And but I think it's the same and different with esports as well. StarCraft being one. I love playing StarCraft.
Yeah.
But watching it also is enough for me. Watching all these extremely skilled players in competitions kind of makes me feel terrible about myself.
I know that feeling.
Yeah. So.
What was I going to say? I enjoy the games for the stories, but I don't like watching games that revolve around the mechanics. Like maybe something pretty mechanically driven, like a pinball or maybe a racing game, where the fun is in the gameplay.
Right.
But then there's narratives like Grand Theft Auto or The Last of Us, where there's enjoyment to be had from the narrative, from the story being told. And I think those games will particularly appeal to for lack of a better word, to girlfriends and audiences, that kind of thing. Meanwhile, esports appeal to people in the same way sports do, right? Because there's bets, there's pride, they're seeing people compete in something that you yourself are involved in, but you see them do it professionally. You see them take it to a hardcore level that you could never do, perhaps because of your day job, or maybe you're just not into it enough. And I think it's a lot of fun and perfectly appropriate to have these live streams like this going on. But I personally don't find vicarious enjoyment from watching other people play games too much. You, Richard, you do Let's Plays, right? That's the same thing. Why do you do Let's Plays?
I mean, I follow a lot of YouTubers that do Let's Plays, and I see the impact that they have on some people's lives because a lot of them do charity events, and some people just say, watching your videos have gotten me out of major depression and all this other kind of stuff, and it makes people feel good, like it changes some people's lives. And for me personally, it's fun. I mean, of course, I love to play video games, and to record that and share my experience in a video game with other people is just fun to me. I enjoy it thoroughly.
Yeah. Do you what do you think about the legality of this issue? Like, do you think that players should have to pay a royalty for monetizing their streams? If someone is making money with advertising because they have a very popular stream with a large audience, and they're putting links out there for people to click on that net the streamer money because they're playing this game for other people, but they didn't make that game. Do you think they should pay royalties to the company that made it, or what's your thoughts on that?
Well, I know with Twitch, a lot of the pro streamers I watch, they are required to run ads by people that sponsor them.
Oh, I see.
And as long as they run those ads, they are clear of any legal issues. And Twitch actually, the viewers on Twitch actually donate money to the stream, like purely out of like the kindness of their heart, or just to show that they appreciate the person's work on the stream, or like just to support the person in their dream of being a professional gamer. Though, like I've seen people donate upwards to $1,000 just like because, and a lot of people live off of twitching, like just purely streaming.
We said before you joined us that the Recful, he does that for a living on Twitch.
Yeah.
And his page is just full of advertisements, and a few of them have subcaptions, saying what he uses, and it gets as trivial as those moistened bathroom wipes, and that's how he makes money. I think, with options like Twitch having particular agreements with companies, so they make streaming legal as long as they do these ads. I think that's pretty neat. That's a pretty cool deal. I would like to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there is software that they do have to purchase in order to broadcast their screen to the internet and other, like there's it costs money in the beginning to start it all. So
to stream in general.
Mm-hmm. There's program. Well, there's free ones out there, and of course, I guess you could torrent it illegally. Not that I would advise that, but
yeah, no condoning here.
No.
It's
what do you use?
I'm on YouTube, so I don't have to use any of those. I don't actually have a Twitch yet. I was gonna wait until my YouTube channel got bigger before I started doing live streams.
I know Alex uses Twitch regularly. I'm gonna have to ask him what he uses.
Yeah.
If any of our listeners have any good suggestions for me, email us at duelistdiscussion@gmail.com. I would love to read those because I'm looking to get into that, particularly with Hearthstone's launch. Getting some of those up, particularly some duels between us four. That would be pretty rad.
Yeah, definitely.
But I was thinking earlier this week about video games as per usual, and some of the older stuff, because I got a 3DS and I bought one of those recently, and we'll get into that in a second. But I was thinking about older games, retro games, and the games that really did it for me, that really stuck with me, and I don't know, maybe more or less gave me perspective on things. And I'd like to hear an example of you guys, your thoughts. But one that really stuck with me was Tomb Raider 2 for the PS1.
Amazing game.
Great game.
I didn't finish it. I actually only played maybe less than a quarter of it, but it still stuck with me. And I know very little about the Tomb Raider universe, but it was just this game, this particular one. I don't know if there was a subtitle or anything, but a memorable moment for me in that game was how anxiety-inducing and like just generally nerve-wracking it was for me to play it. So I just usually hung out at Lara Croft's mansion where her butler followed you around, and he crept along at such a snail's pace. And if we went back right now and looked at it, it probably wouldn't hold up very well. It'd probably be pretty blocky and poor graphically. But there was this pool in the mansion that you could dive into, and you could swim. In many cases, that was like a good way to get out of this part of the game, was to kill yourself.
Yeah.
But you could dive into that. If you needed an outlet, you would just go drown. But there was multiple obstacle courses. No good reason if you just wanted to, just do them just 'cause. There was a maze, a big old maze with like something in the middle, like I can't remember, like a room or something. Several decorated rooms to explore all throughout the estate on the inside of the building. There was no background music that I could remember, so it was just unusual. And coupled with the awareness of the tension that the game was otherwise very capable of creating in the story mode, that made the long outrun and left behind butler, who moved so slowly, just a frightening phenomenon to behold. As you as the player would be, you would forget about him. You'd be exploring a room or something, maybe the book room with the piano in it, and it was just had a bunch of detail. And you would grow accustomed to the silence, and then suddenly you hear very eerie rattling behind you, and the rattling was the drinks on the dish he carried around. It scared me more than once. I'll never forget that.
Oh, that's terrible.
What about you, Ryan? You got a game that just sticks in your memory?
Yeah, I have many, but to note one in particular, I'd have to say Pokemon Blue.
Blue?
Was the first.
I had red. Tell me what do you think?
Well, it was the first thing as a child. I was age 6 or 7, I think, maybe 8.
Was that
8.
long ago?
Yeah, very long time. But yeah, age 6, 7 maybe. I remember being in Toys R Us with my mom and just seeing the Blastoise on the cover of that game and just being drawn to it, So I'm sure I begged her and screamed like a 7-year-old would to get what I wanted.
I know, I did.
Yeah, and from then on, that kind of birthed my whole personality and everything towards gaming. That just drew me in, and even that young as a child, I just remember those fond moments of exploring the region and the gym battles and so much diversity. With everything, all the 150 Pokemon you can catch, whatever you like, and it's just, it was a great gateway for me into gaming, and I'll never forget, the days after school going home and hanging out with a buddy of mine, and he had red version, and we would, old school link cable battle, and those will always be fond memories of mine.
You make me legitimately regret not picking a Squirtle back in the day.
Blastoise, man, you gotta
that
Blastoise.
Well, there you have it, folks. That is you give your kid a Blastoise and he will grow into a fine gentleman like Ryan over here. Oh man, I legitimately regret not picking a Squirtle.
Yeah. Well.
What about you, Richard?
My childhood favorite or most memorable game would probably be I want to say Gex 3, Deep Cover Gecko.
Gex?
It was, yes.
I remember those games having a lot of snarky humor, right?
Yeah, it was. See, I grew up in Cleveland, Ohio. It's not the best part of the world, and I was more into like things I shouldn't have been. And Gex, it was definitely, I wouldn't say it was not a child's game, but it was. There was definitely a lot of things in there that children probably should have seen. But it was just, the game was freaking hilarious. Like, there was so much like humor, even in the enemies you fought, the stuff they said while they were attacking you, and there was just, it was so hard. But I remember it being the only game that no matter how hard it was, I didn't care that I had to play this whole level over again because I enjoyed it that much. And there was a crazy boss fights. There was the whole it had the whole like classic level system where you jump into some kind of portal and then do something in the world, and then you have to do that over and over again, but just a different objective every time. It was I don't know. It stuck with me more than any other game I've ever played. And me and my other siblings still quote things from the game. The Gex 3 was definitely my childhood favorite, I guess.
Do you think Gex had anything to do with the immersion of Geico?
Honestly, it could have propelled the idea of Gecko being some kind of mascot because
they're the same character.
It was
basically, right?
Gex was made by they act exactly the same. I mean, hold the British accent, but it was made by the same company that made Tomb Raider. I don't know how to pronounce it. It's like Eidos or Eidos. I don't know. Is it Eidos?
I think so.
It was made by the same company, so it wasn't like it's not like it was a like under the radar type of game. It was pretty big.
Yeah.
So I don't know, Matt. That's a good question. I honestly think there might be some kind of correlation between their two.
Yeah, now that you think about it,
personas.
There's always that thought now.
Yeah, you can't.
Now I'm gonna think Gex every time I see one of the Geico commercials.
Exactly.
Just imagine him with the laser, and it's the same thing. Yeah. Well, those were great, guys. I think we're gonna start doing that every week. Just bring a game to the table that really changed your life, or maybe not even that just had something memorable. It could be as stupid as the mansion on Tomb Raider that really stuck with you. Because
hated that freaking
the creepy butler.
Yeah, I swear to God, I didn't play any of that game. I got as far in the story where there's like that motto and you got to unlock the boat or something, and then that dog comes around the corner.
Oh my God, that freaking dog!
I couldn't take it. It was too much for me. It was like Amnesia is today.
Yeah, I cried. I remember crying when that dog attacked me.
Yeah, so much anxiety.
Yeah, I couldn't take it, man. Like those artifacts can go screw themselves. I'm not doing it. And then the tiger on the Great Wall. I'm done.
Oh my God.
I'm so done.
So much pressure.
But besides these games, what else have you guys been playing lately? What have you been playing lately? I know what Ryan's been doing.
I've been playing. Actually, I'm doing another run through of Metal Gear Rising: Revengeance.
Oh, nice.
I'm trying to get an all S on very hard run to get all the extra goodies like infinite Ripper mode and infinite Blade mode and all that stuff. I'm trying to unlock all that stuff, so I'm going through that. And I've also been getting really heavy into competitive League. I'm almost gold rank in League, which is an accomplishment.
League of Legends?
Yeah, League of Legends.
That's a lot like that's a MOBA, right? A massively online battle arena.
I think it's multiplayer online battle arena.
Thank you. That's a lot like Dota, right?
Yes, it was actually Ice Frog, the creator of Dota, and the original Dota. The first Dota was a mod for Warcraft 3. It was just a custom map that you download and played. And Ice Frog, he was the creator. He actually worked with Riot Games to help create League of Legends.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And a lot of the items in the game for League of Legends are named after the designers from the Dota, the people that helped with Dota and the people that started with Riot Games. So it's pretty. There's like a history between those two games. League of Legends owes a lot of its success to Dota.
Red.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't. I've only slightly touched on Dota, and it was far too complicated for me.
Yeah.
Dota.
It's got a huge learning curve.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I just don't have the time for that learning curve, man.
Yeah. It takes. I I've read a lot on it, and I've played it personally, and it takes so long to get used to the mechanics and just the giant learning curve, and everyone just stampeding all over you.
Yeah. You still there, Richard? Looks like we might have lost Richard.
Alrighty.
Well, I actually bought a 3DS.
I'm here.
Oh, hey, okay, cool. I actually bought a 3DS. I broke down and bought a 3DS for my birthday, which is coming up. I bought the red one, and I bought a big Nerf case on it. And I got the Ocarina of Time.
Beautiful.
The owl is
Classic. Good.
that owl is good stuff. Ocarina of Time holds up so well, particularly because they threw on. They vomited so many good bottles onto this game. They've updated them. Link has a new face. His run animation's all smooth and polished and better. Everything's just... the owl has a new model. Zelda has a new model. It looks so beautiful. And I definitely don't regret my purchase at all. And then I bought this just in time for a game that me and Ryan have been anticipating pretty desperately. And that's Pokemon X and Y.
Oh, yes. Yes.
What do you have to say about this, Richard?
I'll tell you my history with Pokemon.
Okay.
So I heard this awesome theme song on TV one day when I was a kid, and then I see all these kids with these Pokemon cards, and I get maybe 3 or 4 of them, and you know how kids are. They have no idea how Pokemon battles work. So they're like, my card's prettier, so it does more damage. And I just got demolished. And that was when my interest in Pokemon dissipated.
Oh, well.
So I've never played a single Pokemon game in my entire life.
You should have gone with the Squirtle, man.
Definitely. Always go with the Squirtle.
Well, we picked it up.
So
I decided to do it over the eShop, but Ryan, you went to go pick it up, right? In person? You pre-ordered?
Yeah, I pre-ordered it, and I got off work, and I went straight to the store, and I did not expect as many people online as there were.
There was like 50 people, you said?
Yeah, 50 or 60 people, and
What a bunch of nerds.
Yeah.
And you said they were all like the people, they were all awkward looking?
Yeah, I mean they were all the kids in high school that I would hang out with, you know, like those quiet, awkward, nerdy people.
Yeah. Nothing wrong with that. But there's obviously a niche crowd for it, right?
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, I a lot of people that I've talked to about it would expect, you know, they would talk to me about it and say, so it was all, you know, 8-year-olds there, right? Actually, no, there's only only 1 or 2 all children there, which was pretty surprising.
And they had hats and stuff for the different starter Pokemon?
Yes, and I did not get one, so I'm upset.
It was like a varsity hat, that kind of thing, a paper hat?
Yeah, you just fold it around your head, and they have all the starters on them, and they're, you know, red, blue, and green, and I wanted a Fennekin hat, but they didn't have any.
As usual, though, once GameStop opens, and I think we're going to have a former employee of GameStop on as a guest in a future show, so that'll be fun. But as usual, once the doors open for a midnight launch, they usually get everyone out of there pretty quickly, right?
Oh yeah, it was definitely a quick process.
Were copies scarce?
No. I think they anticipated maybe more people. They're always prepared for that, you know.
Yeah.
Because they have to have the product for the rest of the week or month or such as well.
Well, in light of a conversation we had last week, Richard, as far as launching games online goes, I decided to do a download over the eShop, which you would think I would have learned my lesson by now. But I thought, you know, hey, Nintendo's got this down, right? So I'm all new to all the menus and stuff because the 3DS is still pretty new to me. And I bought the Red XL, and then Ocarina of Time, and then this was going to be my second game. I decided to go with Pokemon Y, whereas Ryan went with Pokemon X.
Yes.
But I lost my train of thought. I went on the eShop, and the payment process was pretty straightforward and everything. But on the purchase screen, it kept timing out. Like the servers were just being attacked, and this was to be expected. It wasn't a connection issue on my part. It was just a server load part. So many people trying to access and hit this portion of their server and download the game and purchase it. But honestly, it only took maybe 2 hours to get everything going, maybe 2 or 3 hours, download included.
Yep.
Finally got it through, and it downloaded no problem. I could even put it in the background to download, provided my 3DS was closed. And it took long enough for me and Ryan to get a few beers down, and by that time we were up to like 3 playing. What was your starter Pokemon, Ryan?
I got Croaky, I think.
The blue, the water one?
Yeah, the frog.
Ooh, generations later, you're still going with water.
Always, man. I always get the water.
Well, the Finnegan's the fire starter, right? And I feel like that one was going to be the one everyone was going to go with. And that knowledge, because I'm kind of a hipster when it comes to these things, coupled with the fact that I don't like Finnegan's final evolution stage, looks like a giant woman in a dress or something.
Yeah.
I decided to go, just to be contrary, to go with Chespin, the big bug grass monkey looking thing.
Chipmunk thingy.
Yeah, whatever it is. And his second evolution stage, which is where I'm at right now, looks like a fat kid in a suit.
Yep.
So I decided to go with that one. And I think you and I are about the same place in the game, right?
Yeah, we
early 20s.
Yeah.
My roster is right now like a 20 Charmeleon, 22 Quilladin, 20 Combuskin, 10 Pancham thing, like the panda, and then the 14 Bunnelby,
nice,
which looks extremely ugly.
Yes.
Yes. Notice how silent I am. I have no idea what you guys are talking about.
Well, fair enough. The game, it's ridiculous. It's fun. It's almost overwhelmingly full of content, much like at the launch of Warcraft.
Yeah, definitely.
It's just so ludicrously polished. I feel it belongs as a contender for Game of the Year, in fact, in some categories.
Definitely.
So polished. The fan service is just phenomenal.
Oh yeah, the social interaction has reached new heights.
Yeah,
definitely.
If you want I'm sorry.
It was I'm sure, Game Freak's goal from the beginning. That because Pokemon is such a social game in general. With battling your friends or trading or whatnot. Now it's come down to, you can play someone across the world in a Pokemon battle, which I think is incredible.
Yeah, and good to know. Game Freak, they have said they don't intend to do any DLC or microtransactions.
Nope.
They like it all shipped in one package. If you want something else, wait for a sequel.
That's right.
But if you want a really good review for that, Kotaku has an amazing review that I agree 100% with. And one of my favorite lines from that review was that people are constantly giving you gifts. You're constantly being given stuff. Just constantly. Everyone is so nice. But everyone there?
Yeah.
Okay. I think that's about it for the show. We should probably wrap it up. You're doing some studio drum service, right? Where can people contact you for work?
They can email me anytime. My email is Ryan M. Drover. That's RyanMDrover @gmail.com.
Okay. And what's your experience, your drumming background?
Well, I've been playing now for 11 years, I think, and in various genres of music. So I'd like to think I'm pretty well versed in everything, genre-wise. So my saying is, throw me any project and I'll tackle it.
You're obviously one of the best drummers I've ever heard of. I'm real proud of you, man. I wish you luck in your endeavors.
Thank you very much.
But you can find me at Devin_Casey at Twitter. You can email us questions, comments, or whatever at duelistdiscussion@gmail.com, and we might read those on the show, answer those on the show. You visit our site at duelistdiscussion.squarespace.com, Facebook/duelistdiscussion, and please rate us on iTunes. We need some ratings. More listeners we get, obviously that's going to be better for us. We can provide you guys more content, of course. Rashard could be found somewhere on Twitter.
You can find me at ExodusRB on Twitter. Also, my YouTube channel is just my name, Rashard Burrell, on I guess youtube.com/Rashard Burrell. You can see some of the content I upload on there, and that's pretty much it for me.
All right, sounds great. This has been a wonderful show. I've really enjoyed having you guys on.
Yeah, definitely.
Thanks for coming along. And Alex's lore segment's going to be at the end of the show. It'd be great to have you on again sometime, Ryan, whenever you're available.
Definitely.
All right.
Yes.
Well, we're going to close up shop here, and we'll see you guys later. Take care.
See ya.
See you guys.
Hello again, and welcome to another installment of Hearthstone lore. This week, we're going to talk about Valeera Sanguinar. Valeera is a Blood Elf rogue who isn't actually aligned with the Horde or the Alliance, although she did live in Stormwind until recently. When she was young, her family was killed by bandits, and she grew accustomed to theft in order to survive. One day, she was caught and incarcerated by an Orcish patrol, but before being subdued, she managed to injure some of the guards, and her strength alerted an arena promoter. She was sold to Rhaegar Earthfury to be a gladiator, and was put onto a team with Bloodeye Redfist and Brawl Baremantle. After Bloodeye was killed in battle, he was replaced by a human who would later be identified as King Varian Wrynn. The three were transported to Dire Maul to participate in a fight. After this, Valeera was sold in order to join an all-female team. On the way to their next fight, Valeera escaped with a wyvern and began searching for Brawl and Varian. During this search, she discovered and killed an assassin that had been trailing her. She was grievously injured, but she was saved from her wounds by Aegwynn, former guardian of Tirisfal, and was taken to Brawl and Varian, who Aegwynn identified as such. All three fled to Stormwind, and along the way Valeera became addicted to magic. On their way to Ironforge, which was a stop on their way to Stormwind, she was attacked by a warlock and was possessed by the demon Cathra Natir. This made her magic addiction even worse, but luckily the demon could only take over her body occasionally. Once in Ironforge, Valeera stopped an assassination attempt on Varian, but the assassin was a black dragon and flew away before being killed. She stayed in Ironforge while Varian and Brawl continued on a side mission in hopes of kicking her magical addiction. After successfully regaining control of herself, she reunited with her companions and they continued on to Stormwind City. After Lady Prester was revealed to be Onyxia in disguise, Valeera traveled with Varian to kill her in her lair, and later, when the Scourge was overrunning Azeroth, she went to Ahn'Qiraj to save Aegwynn's grandson Medan. While there, her and her companion Meryl Winterstorm were attacked by the Ogre Cho'Gall. Fighting for their lives, Valeera allowed the demon inside her to take over completely and fend off the ogre. Meryl teleported them away, and then absorbed the demon inside of himself. Valeera's last known whereabouts was Stormwind City, but she has since departed and has not been seen since.